Now, Leaving Cert 2011 kicks off 1 week from today, and if you're preparing for it, well, best of luck. If you have already done it, you're probably sitting back in a certain amount of smug relief, glad not to be doing it again, especially with the fine weather on the way. It always seems to get sunny around Leaving Cert time for some odd reason. So let's see if we can drill down into the secrets to success. Sarah Houlihan is here from Tullamore, and she received 6 A1's in last year's exams. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning.
Well done.
Thank you.
Now, is there a secret? Can it be bottled? Can everybody do it?
I think so, yeah. Because you don't have to be really intelligent or anything. I think it's just getting down and learning it. It's constantly doing exam questions and learning what's going to come up this year. Like, you can narrow down what's going to come up from looking at the past papers. And once you do that, you're just learn that and that's it, because you can't possibly learn everything.
Did you do anything differently to some of the other classmates you were in school with?
No, but I found the way that I worked best, and that was by writing things out again and again. Some people learn by listening to other people talk or by just reading, but I had to write it down, and once you find what works for you, I think that's the best way to do it. Like, don't listen to some people. If a lot of people can't write things down, but I just found rewriting it again and again and again worked for me, and I kept doing it and it worked. And
eventually repetition built it in.
It just keeps going back into your head again and again, and you can't help but know it then.
Now, if we were to describe a typical day, some people get up in the morning, they go to school, they come home, they do their homework, and that's it. They don't really go over, above and beyond.
Yeah.
Did you take on extra work through your own initiative to try and drill in that information?
No. I did a solid probably 4 hours from Christmas on, but definitely not more than that. Like, there was no studying until 11 o'clock at night or getting up at 6 in the morning. That just doesn't work because you exhaust yourself. But you just have to study properly. Like, don't get distracted. Try not to stare at the wall for hours. Just find something that works for you. Like, I think writing really helps, writing it all out and like doing the papers again and again. That's just the best way to study.
Because the past exam papers.
Yeah. And often, like, now that school is finished, your teachers might have extra classes for you, maths class, their business. And if they are bothering to come in, I think you should really make the effort to go in, because it actually does help as well in the last few days.
How important are the past exam papers in trying to figure out a pattern or predict what might happen?
I think
next
they're hugely
Wednesday?
important. Like, for subjects like business and even Irish, they're very important because the poetry comes up in Irish loads like differently every year, but you can predict a pattern in it. Like last year, what our teacher predicted for us came up exactly what they predicted, and it was the same for business. Like, obviously there's going to be some surprises. Last year Van Bolen didn't come up and everyone was really, really shocked, but have something else prepared. Like, you're going to have to narrow it down now at this stage, but if you have 2 or 3 things learned off, I don't see how you can go wrong with that. That's what we all did last year, and everyone it turned out fine for everyone.
I suppose in a way it's easier, if easier is the word, with the subjects where you have to absorb a lot of information. But say maths, for instance, where you have to think and you really have to have a grasp of the concepts.
Yeah.
How do you really prepare yourself adequately for that?
You're going to have to learn, obviously, all your theorems off by heart, because there's no way you can just try and figure them out in the day. But I think that, again, just doing the questions over and over again, the same things come up every year, just different numbers. So it's the easiest just to keep doing the papers again for subjects like maths and accountancy and stuff. But like, exam technique is really important as well, like laying your papers out properly for business especially, and subjects like home ec. If you just like label your points and have, if it's 20 marker, 5 by 4 points or 4 by 5, and make sure you have examples as well, because that's what you get marks for. Like, just underlining things and having it shortened to the point, like, it makes it so easy for the examiner to correct it, and they have it right there in front of them.
Wow. So there's a whole science to laying out the exams in their own right.
Definitely, yeah. And the teachers, like, they drill that into you from 5th year. But a lot of people don't do it. But if you do it, it just makes it so much easier to see where your points are, and then you know exactly what you have, and it's easier for them to correct as well.
What about languages? Which language did you tackle?
I had French. And I didn't like it that much. But
was it one of your A1's?
Yes.
Okay.
It just proves, though, like, if you learn the vocab, you don't have to learn off answers or anything. Just if you know the vocab, you're going to be able to answer any questions, and your grammar. But you can't possibly predict what's going to come up. Like, obesity, like ridiculous things that you couldn't predict just came up one year. And
Really?
Yeah.
And what did you have to write about in relation to obesity?
It's an exam. It's an opinion question. So you give your opinion on it, and we never expected it at all, and it comes up. But once you know the vocab, you can't go wrong. Like anything can come up.
Yeah, but something as obscure as that will be difficult enough on an English paper. Never mind French.
I know, absolutely.
What about the situation with grinds? A lot of people seem to find them helpful, and then others don't. What's your own view on it?
I think, if there's one subject that you really struggle with and that you find really difficult, absolutely. I found I was terrible at home economics, and that's seen as an easy A, but I really just couldn't grasp it at all. So for the last 2 months I had to get grinds in that, and it was the best thing I ever did, because if someone explains something to you in a different way, it clicks with you, and then you know it forever. And I definitely think that you don't need to get grinds in every subject, and people that do are wasting their time, because actually by the time you get to a grind and get back from a grind, you're wasting half an hour there, and sometimes you might know already what they're doing in the grind. But I think if there is one subject you need help with, maths or something like that, definitely go for it.
Yeah, I suppose if there's a concept that just isn't quite clear in your head, then getting a grind, somebody to spell it out.
But you shouldn't need them in every subject. Like, if this is one subject you struggle with, get it in that.
Yeah. You have to think of the economics of it as well, because grinds are not cheap.
Yeah, they're actually quite expensive now. You can pay up to €45 for an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought 30 was about the going rate, but look, if they're good grinds, maybe they're worth 45 quid.
Yeah.
And what about your own notes? You weren't tempted to do what the guy from Clare did last year and put them on eBay and try to sell them?
I gave them back to I gave some of them to my teachers that asked for them, and then I have a brother doing his Leaving Cert anyway, so he has the rest of them now.
Big pressure on him. Is he doing it this year?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So he has to get at least 6 A1's then, or they'll be slagging.
Yeah. Starting to panic now.
Okay, in the days coming up to the exams, is there a danger of burnout? What way did you structure your
That
days?
week is horrible, because you're sitting at home and you don't get up and go to class or anything. It's really boring. It's all self-motivation. So you have to get up early, I think, and start doing it in the morning. And it's the days before that you're going to do the most, because like the first day is English paper 1 home ec, and you can't obviously prepare for English paper 1, but the rest of your subjects, you're just basically cramming them all in. But like, still take loads of breaks and sleep loads as well, because you're going to burn yourself out otherwise.
It's tempting though, over the next couple of days, if the weather forecast is accurate, and we have this fine sunny and gloriously warm temperatures, 25 degrees or something at the weekend, you could easily be distracted and want to go outdoors.
I know. It's the same last year. We had really nice weather for our Leaving Cert as well, but it's a couple of weeks. You might as well make it your top priority and just do your best.
Yeah. Did you worry much after the exams? Did you have a post-mortem?
You try not to. You try and leave the exam as quick as you can and go home, but there's no denying it. Like, you can take some of the papers home with you and you look through them and you go, oh God, I could have answered that so much better. And you genuinely do think on the day that you don't have a clue what you're going to write down, but write something, because you do get marks for it. And write anything at all, and you could like surprise yourself.
So what did you do with your 6 A1s? Are you a millionaire yet?
I went to Trinity College and I started doing English literature and modern art, but I didn't like it, so I dropped out after Christmas.
Right.
And I'm going to go back now in September. I've reapplied and everything, and I'm going to go back and do something in the science or medical field, I think.
Very good.
Maybe speech and language therapy or something.
Well, there's a huge demand for those sort of services.
Yeah.
And you'll definitely have work in that area. There's
no
doubt about that. I'm just curious, why not English and modern art?
Yeah, I know, they're my best subjects in school, but it's very different in college, and your teachers do tell you have to think about your CAO as well, but it was my biggest mistake. I spent all my time studying rather than working on the CAO, and you really actually have to research the courses. Like, English isn't English in college. It was so different. There was bits of psychology and philosophy and everything in it, and it just wasn't for me. It was too creative. I like facts.
Right, okay.
So
it's interesting. There's a lesson in that as well then for people.
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much for coming into us.
Thanks.
It's been great, and it has hopefully been helpful to you if you're studying for the exams or if you know somebody who is. Sarah got 6 A1s last year. Amazing. Well done.